Welcome everyone to another episode of Ghost Reveries of An Domhan, our Zweihander grim and perilous RPG that is brought to you by Andrew McNeil's Publishing and Grim and Perilous Studios. We're back with another episode because we love this game and we love this setting. I have so much fun running this one. We had some surgery last week. Now we're getting into bringing it back home, so to speak. So before we get into that, we're going to start off with what we usually do, a couple of our announcements. Tonight's episode of Ghost Reveries, our Zweihander Grim and Perilous RPG story. Tonight, episode 6. Tonight's episode entitled Cradle of Corruption. And that is where we will return to our troop, as they had just seen the skyline of Aberdown on the horizon. Its peaks, its cathedrals, its tor, its towers of their academies stretching across the horizon, its great walls before them. Now, is there anything specific that your troop would want to do before arriving at the gates? It's another 6 or 7 hours before you would arrive. You would probably be arriving just before dinner.
Would there be any time that maybe Sable would be able to convey some of the information she came across without it being overheard by the doctor? Or is that something that maybe, because of the close quarters of the carriage, would not be easily...
Well, it is the last day of riding, and you do have a rest moment. One of you has been tasked with being the shotgun seat, the coach gunner, and if the doctor were to remain unawares of the situation, he would probably require still to have somebody on the bench with him. The last person to sit with him, I believe, was Anya. So, I will need, knowing this, you would have to decide if somebody's going to switch out or if you're going to share that information with Seek.
Also, has this been another day, or is this...
This is the beginning of the third day, and you can see the city on the horizon now.
Okay.
Basically, it's going to take the rest of the day to get there.
Okay, I'm trying to keep track for recovery
Yes,
days.
it is the third day.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to tell Seagull you want Sieg to be the distraction, to keep Klaus busy.
Do we all have, like, when we get back to the city, are we staying in a tavern together? Do we all, like...
You have lodging that each of you has individually, according to your lifestyle. So, a room in a tavern, I
could find someone who would let me stay with them.
Either an acquaintance or maybe an upscale boarding house, and of course your family's estate. But you do have essentially part of your task was to return and bring the spun orichalcum, that very dangerous material, to him immediately. Klaus is going to, at this point, he pulls the carriage off to the side, hops down, turns to Anya. I am going to do something that requires privacy.
Oh. Okay. Don't die.
I don't plan on it. I'm going to go take a shit in the woods. So he hops down and heads off into the trees.
See, really bad
I think I caught with his pants down.
Leaving the three of you to discuss at the carriage, which allows me to actually go use the restroom.
Yes. Oh, such a fortuitous shit.
I know everything on the carriage. I expect it all to be there when I return.
Somehow I feel like that was directed at me.
I mean, look, it's a vulnerable state, so the chances of him dying during this is higher than you might expect.
Well, yeah, I don't want him to get caught with his pants down.
It's okay. This is actually, while she's like looking to make sure he's like gone for a moment, she looks a little perturbed about it.
Are you okay?
I paid for information that I think should be shared with you, both of you. You've been very kind to me in our travels, and the person we are working with, I had a personal inkling about the character of Cyrus. I do not know how you both came to work with him, but I did so in a way that was perhaps not like the standard congregation, and I was able to get our good doctor to share how he got his debt.
Okay.
It's not good, right?
I didn't think it would be if there was a debt that carried enough weight for him to go and, well, granted, he really didn't risk his life that much, but still.
True.
He was very unhappy about the whole ordeal, though, so at least at that point it was of some importance to him.
While it says a lot about the doctor, it also says something about Cyrus. The doctor was doing experimentations on people from Bedlam, illegally acquired from Bedlam, and
Like, autopsies.
no, I thought people need bodies, and a lot of medical physicians and such will pay a good amount of money if you don't mind digging a fresh one up.
Yeah,
But
I've read books on that.
yes, and that would be something I would 100% understand, but no. These were living subjects that he was working with.
Well, you said that it was for some sort of, like, experiment or research. Yeah. Was that in regards to the cause for the resurrectionists?
The doctor was not working with the resurrectionists originally. He had independent studies, something about nemesinetic fluid? Anya, I don't know if you know anything about it, but he said, like...
I will know if I know once he's back
Sure,
and I can roll
it's
for
okay.
it.
Yeah, he said he was able to take a memory from your head and make it a physical liquid, a thing that then somebody else could have and partake of that same memory, but it takes it from the person. He was taking people's memories, their thoughts, their things that they cherish that are so personal from their heads.
Why would someone do that?
You just said cherished, but what if he could use it to take something bad away?
I think that would be lovely too, but unfortunately he was doing this outside of the law, and that is the nature of his debt. Cyrus found this out. He took interest in this macabre experimentation he was doing, took all his research. Cyrus has everything the doctor worked on.
Why would he need that research?
Exactly. I don't know how it would apply, but to be associated with doing... I understand you do things for medical progress. And like I said, if it was bodies, I'd be fine with it. But we all understand that people that get put in Bedlam are not always so fairly put there or treated. I once could have been placed in there myself, and it wouldn't have been anything. These people had no choice.
Pretty sure if I wasn't my father's daughter, I would probably be one too. I have a tendency to get in trouble looking for information.
Oh yes, born into another class, you would have been quite the problem, Anya.
I tend to keep my fighting tendencies to a minimum in more populated areas.
But you're a sterile man, a masculine creature. It's fine that men fight, right? That's not a problem.
I mean, fighting for a purpose, yes. So, but... Well, so...
He's right. You're the guy. You would have been fine. You can talk your way out of things.
I don't think I'm talking my way out of anything.
Well, maybe you shouldn't try.
Yeah, I would probably default to fighting my way out of a thing. But it kind of just sounds like Klaus just he got caught in a way.
Yeah. And Cyrus is involved in it too now.
So Cyrus was interested in it.
So much so he
but
took everything.
He took it.
Yeah. In exchange for absolving him of the complications of the law. He has a lot of power.
Okay.
Do I know what nemosemitic fluid is?
Well, let's have you make a check.
Yay!
This will be done. Let's see here. Let me get my handy dandy GM screen printout.
Notebook.
It'll be a intelligence alchemy test. This will be... Actually, no, it will be an education test.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be a hard.
I did explain
Test.
what the doctor had told Sable.
I actually watched.
Okay.
Oh.
We were behaving while you were gone.
I was keeping track. No, I saw.
Always watching, always listening.
Okay, see how much
Always
I know.
pooping.
Critical success!
Yeah!
I rolled a 33, I needed a 38.
All right.
Fine
Holy
way to
shit.
start it.
All right. That's one way to start off a game.
Extreme!
You know.
Oh, hold on.
Oh boy.
New page, new
New
page,
page.
new episode, new page.
Yeah, well, I was gonna put it at the bottom of the last one, but that's not gonna work. Okay.
Nemesin. It's similar to an older word that comes from the old Aurelian Empire. It's that language. And it is a deity slash concept, kind of like a personified aspect of reality that is memory. Nemosnetic implies that it is a fluid of memory. Now, the idea that this is achievable by mere science, or medical science, is there's nothing that you can recall in any of your educational background that implies that this is achievable. Because remember, this was a education test, not a medicine test. If you had a medicine test, it could give you a little bit more details in that realm. But this is an education test, so the concept of memory is a source of, in the old Aurelian text, the old imperial texts that you read, was a sign of life. There was basically two kinds of life to them. There was the life of any life that you can observe. A plant is alive or dead. An animal is alive or dead. A person is alive or dead. But then there's also the life that constitutes what comes to be known as a spirit or a personality, those kinds of things. And that is where the Nemesin would be most associated.
Kind of like a liquid soul of sorts?
That's the best you can gather from the fact that that's the term that he used for it and what Sable described that he had done. So that's what you can gather from that term. It's not something that it's a brand new If it's new, it's a discovery that is so fresh it's not in any textbook, and if it's old, it's something that they kept out of those textbooks.
Which means it's something I want to learn. Damn it. Damn it. I'm gonna get in so much trouble. Okay.
Okay, so you mentioned that so Cyrus has all this stuff from Klaus, and so, but that's, it's technically it's not our business. We're here to give him the stuff, and that's what we're gonna get. That's what we're getting paid for.
You don't care about the character of your employer, the person who is so in charge of the lives of people in the congregation, and apparently fingers even deep into the law. That should be survival to learn about these things.
Yeah, and if someone is that influential and powerful, I'm still going to give him the thing that he paid us to give him right now.
Good boy. No. I was not saying we don't go for our paycheck. I'm just saying be careful.
Yeah, I will be more careful if he asks for another task that doesn't send us into a city of death. But for now, I just want to get back to Aberdown.
Well, I hope that doesn't weigh upon your conscience that we are now associated with someone who would use people in such a way.
I've got enough on my conscience. It's already filled up there.
Do you think he has any books on it?
Well, from what I understood, Cyrus took all his papers, everything he had written.
So I probably shouldn't ask him about it?
Considering that was meant to be between just the two of you, but I would suggest
it was
no.
information paid for. If you were to casually, maybe.
I'm not good at casual.
No, you're not. But if anybody was to understand what he's talking about, unfortunately I am the least equipped for this, and I understand that failing of myself.
Are you sure I'm not the least equipped? Do you want me to sit with him on the ride back? Do you guys want to keep talking about it? Because, I mean, not saying I'm not interested. I'm just saying I don't know what more I could really do on this situation.
It wasn't like I expected us to be able to do anything about it. I just thought that you would want to know something like that. That is not something you do lightly to a person.
No, and I appreciate that honesty from you for sharing.
Okay, I thought
Yeah,
you
no, neither of them have been very honest, but you coming forward to be honest, I appreciate.
Yes, I am in fact a pillar of that. You're welcome.
Shortly after that is said, you can see off to the side of the road, just a couple of trees past, walking back in with the toiletries bag, so to speak, under his arm and adjusting his shirt. Klaus, the good doctor, is on his way back to the carriage. Are you going to... Who is he going to... When he jumps up into the coachman's seat, is Anya still going to be there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, judging by the sun in the sky, I do think that we shall arrive with at least enough time to be able to get the horses inside before it gets dark. I will not be providing a door-to-door service. Once we arrive at my stables, your travels are your own. All I wish is to know when you will be meeting up with Dr. Cyrus.
Do you think... I'm gonna call back to them. Do you think we're gonna go see Cyrus tonight? I'd like to get the stuff out of my bag as soon as possible.
We weren't instructed other than just right away.
Right away and bring it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Well, if you'd like to travel with us in the city, we're probably gonna go right to him.
Fine then. Then we shall travel as a group, I guess. He snaps the reins, gives a little, and the carriage
It's as if he's ashamed to be associated with
proceeds on its way. About 5 hours later, so around 6 p.m.-ish, you arrive at the city gates. And I will ask for some awareness tests.
Yeah,
And
my
what
best
difficulty?
skill.
This will be standard.
Okay.
This is a perception-based skill.
Nope.
No. Success.
Okay. As you are riding up, you notice that while you can see that the gate guards are beginning the process of preparing to close the gates for the evening. Mass transit in the form of large carriages and such coming in and out of the city is restricted at night. It's one way to control commerce. You can still leave the city at night via several sally doors that exist in the main gates, but vehicle travel is restricted and held at the gates at night. So the guards move about, picking up their tables for taxation of arriving commerce vehicles, your veritable bridge trolls for the gate. All under the auspice of the city guard, of course. It's Sable that notices the leaflets hammered to the doors. Now, this is common enough that you can see them, but not as many of them carry wax seals of declaration. You'd have to get down and inspect them if you wish.
Well, are they letting us through?
Well, as your carriage comes up, you are halted by a gate guard who says, "Personal or commerce or official business," as he looks up to Klaus, who's driving. "Personal carriage, thank you very much, sir." Fine then. He looks around, he sees 2 horses, 2 axles. Silver.
I'll pay the toll.
Mm.
Trying to keep on
Pulling out
Klaus's good
1
side.
shilling.
Yeah.
You pay the toll, and the doctor looks to you and nods in gratitude. The guard isn't done, though. "You'll understand I need to look it over." And another guard walks forward with a hound. And I want to know if you recognize something about this. So I want I want a folklore test from everybody.
Okay.
Anya, don't fuck this
This
up!
is a standard
You're our only hope!
standard folklore test.
I succeed.
Wait a minute, did I succeed? Hold on. I too succeeded.
It's
The hard Decker game.
It's a wiry doggo.
it's a dog.
This dog it's wolfhound size, but it has soft fur to it, almost gray silver, with almost like a hint of what might be blue or lavender on the undercoat.
Pretty dog.
Pointed ears, no droopy ear action on this hound. An almost wolf-like muzzle, but a little bit longer. And while you're looking at it, if you kind of give it a second glance, it's almost like it's slightly to the side of where it is occasionally. It has an almost ethereal feeling to the way its fur falls. Two of you who succeeded in your folklore tests know that these are creatures known as kenhounds. They are a type of canine that is usual. They're very expensive to breed and keep because they are etherically attuned creatures. They smell. They're used to hunt witches. They are used to read individuals. Their stories go that should you find yourself on the wrong side of a kenhound, that its bark could make your soul step back half a step before your body catches up. This guard has a kenhound as he walks it.
Ancient. But what we're
Walks up.
carrying is not.
The hound begins to walk about. He guides it walking about, and it starts sniffing. This would be opportunity to get down if you wanted to go look at the
Sybil
leaflet.
kind of like wrap her fan on the side of the window. Half the door open. What's the hold up? And she starts like pulling her skirts forward and stepping out and closing the thing behind her.
Standard inspection for all vehicles coming in. We need to make sure that you're not carrying anything illicit or performing commerce under the guise of personal transport. And he continues to guide the dog around.
From this point, stepping out, would you be able to get an eye on what's on the wall?
It's on the gate itself, and you're kind of in the middle of the roadway, or at least on the right side of the roadway, and near a guard post that's currently being like the cash box is being locked up, and the last bits of coin are being counted and cataloged, and you can see them carrying chairs away and such for the day's work of allowing commerce and taking taxes is done. So you'd have to get a lot closer because it's not a billboard, it's not a large, it's a long piece of paper. So we're talking something, like that long with a seal at the bottom hanging. You'd have to probably get out and go over and walk over. It's presented enough and it's regular enough that this kind of thing would happen. So it's nothing suspicious about investigating a quick.
Like almost talking moments. Ooh, nice opportunity to stretch my legs, and she's gonna start walking her way over to check that out.
Okay. I'm gonna roll intimidation for the Ken. I have to roll some stuff for the Ken Hound now.
We have art for the puppo.
Sniffs around.
We do. I drew art with Beatrice.
At least I should have papers.
How rich is your family?
Enough.
You do have sanction. You do have sanctioning.
Like a certificate of
certification. Yeah.
You have your papers.
I do. I have to carry them, or this.
It's standard to carry them in a specific scroll, and most in a specific scroll case that is kept on the waist. So that way, even if you don't have to pull them out every time. If somebody sees that scroll case, they know that a sanctioned magister is operating, and it's kind of a symbol of status because some of them decorate them and make them a little lavish and such. The Kenhound stops and starts barking in Anya's direction. Sable is able to get to the scroll and read it quickly. And I'll get to the barking in a second.
Oh, good. No.
After a quick glance, you realize that this is a ecclesiastical missive, an announcement, a recruitment. All faithful, exalted children are called to answer before the cathedral, within the cathedral, to join the holy host that goes to eliminate the curse and lift the terrible fates that sits upon the place known as Rathmarban, and to liberate those held under heretical rule. Read that, and just as you're looking at the seal of the Grand Hierophant stamped to the bottom, it's seal paper hanging down, fluttering in the wind. You hear the Kenhound barking. The guard looks down at the hound, looks up at you. Have you any contraband on you that might be considered illicit in terms of I hate this stuff. Do you have anything on you that would piss off a Kenhound?
I am a magister.
He looks you
I
up
pull
and
out my
down.
rubedo.
That's not a standard thing, so most people wouldn't understand it. He's just like, that's a nice rock.
Oh, Anya.
Do you have your certification with you?
Mm-hmm. And I pull out my nice scroll.
He reaches up for it and holds it in his hand. Pops off the end of the scroll case. It hangs on its little attached thread
It's very
leather
pretty.
strip. Pulls out the scroll work, rolls it open, looks up at you, looks down, puts it away, closes it, hands it back to you. Have you been working in that capacity recently?
I've been practicing a new spell.
Yeah, that probably pissed it off. Alright, he starts pulling on it, and it's still looking at you, and its eyes have a certain intelligence to it. It doesn't look at you the way a mindless beast. It looks at you, and it has that conveyance of expression that you can feel that it knows something about you that you've forgotten. Like meeting an old family member who knows more about your childhood than you do. And as he yanks at the chain, pulls the Kenhound away, you feel it now that it is absent. But it's almost like the barometric pressure in the air lessened. There was a feeling of intense weight upon your person. And as he pulled the Kenhound away, it just kind of relaxed. And you kind of took it for everything unclenching in your body for a moment. But you also know that there was a little bit more tangible feeling to that.
Oh boy. I don't like dogs very much.
These aren't any everyday dogs. He nods to the other guard. Guard holds his hand up as they're starting to close the doors, and you see his shoulders kind of drop as he starts to open them up a little bit more. And you are allowed to enter into the city on your carriage.
My own butt is unclenched. I'm okay.
Sable returned back to the carriage. Okay. Maybe a half hour into the ride back into the city, you arrive at the stables, and Klaus says, I have a few moments I need to have with the stable master to ensure that everything will be kept in place as it is, and I must make my appropriate stable payments. I also may be able to inquire as to where Dr. Cyrus currently is, seeing as the stable is within our little group. I will be but 5 minutes. Please wait for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my stuff. And I put the blunderbuss down.
Inside the city, it's claustrophobic to its own design. Whereas before it felt like the buildings were going to collapse on top of you, these buildings feel like they are going to squeeze in and crush you from the sides. The city it stands taller and straighter, but it's more crowded in. This is a grand metropolis, and the main road that you took in to arrive at the stable is unlike a majority of the roads. This was a dirt road still in the town. I'm sorry, this is a cobblestone road still in the town. Wide enough for carriages to move at least 2 abreast. The majority of the streets are foot traffic sized. You'd be lucky to get a horse down there without shoving people against walls. This is a very populated city. It is situated at the bottom of a horseshoe valley. Make folklore tests, please.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Failure. Unless you want me to.
No. Well,
No.
The actually for Sieg and Sable, I apologize. This would have been a routine test.
still no.
It still would have been no.
Okay. Your class association would have offered you a little bit of extra information. You can see the smoke billowing from the stacks of the manufactories. This city is in its burgeoning industrial era. If we were to look to a modern time span that it relates to. Most of the buildings are stone foundations with wood and plaster finish. The second floor is built entirely out of wood and plaster. The feeling within the city is it's exciting and terrifying all at once. It is a place that feels like you could go and find anything, but it is also a place where anything might find you. Whether you wanted to or not. There's also a city with color to it. Depending on where you are. Certain districts, the color flows down the streets like a river, whereas others, it feels like the color has just drained into the sewers and is nowhere to be found. Right now, you are entering into kind of a commercial quarter because of the traffic that flows through this area on a regular basis. Much commerce happens here, and making it so that carriages, wagons, and other shipments can just be unloaded and moved out without having to travel too deep into the city is a common sense form of urban design. So where you are, there is color. A little faded, though, as if it's been worn for a long time. A childhood shirt that started out red and is now kind of a faded pink. It still has life to it, but it's been worn. And in the failing light, you can see that it must have rained recently. As you can see puddles and small just gathers of water in the cracks of the cobblestones, and you can see a little bit of a shimmer on the eaves of the buildings with their flat shingles for roofing. The stable itself, a rather large building, has many open stables as well as several open stalls that the carriages have been placed in, very organized, rather well put together, and that's where you find yourselves, standing amongst the horses and the stable boy shoveling poop.
I'm gonna stand out of the way.
Do I need to get out of the cart yet?
I immediately getting my stuff together, and I'm getting out of the carriage and our bedrolls
Stand
essentially.
beside.
Yeah.
Alright.
Over him. I mean, you could stay in there, but it'd be a very uneventful night for you, I imagine.
Well, no, I'm gonna come with you. I was just saying, if I'm gonna sit somewhere, I want to sit where the cushions are.
That is the opinion of a lowborn who is no longer operating in a completely lowborn society.
There's questions here. Yeah.
The Kenhound is very mad.
It was a big dog.
It was beautiful.
Way too intelligent.
How the fuck do I know about a Kenhound?
You've probably seen them. There are signs of status.
Okay.
Sometimes a wealthy burgher might get their hands on a pup.
Okay.
And they don't know the degree to which someone who knows the kenning arts can commune with a kenhound.
Earth people have bought weirder things with knowing less, so.
But yes, it is definitely a status symbol to have a kenhound, because it is more than just any old hound. There's even some people that buy wolfhounds, Galian wolfhounds,
To pass them off.
and then comb them and brush color into their fur and try to pass them off as kenhounds. So there's even styling and grooming of other breeds to make it seem as though it is a kenhound, or at least in their parentage is a kenhound.
I love it. I love it so much. Is it normal for them to be at the gates?
Is it?
It wouldn't be unheard of, at least in the capital city.
Okay.
Not as unheard of, at least at major gates and such. At a smaller city, it wouldn't.
You know how I could see things that you guys couldn't see while on the road?
Why do you have to remind me of that? I'm
not
still
doing
clenching.
it now. I'm
Okay.
not looking. I'm not looking, I swear, but I think the dog was. Or something similar.
Like it smelled the spun or calcum or something
Or could see it.
through the bag.
I mean, they've been rumored to be very intelligent. So, at least you have a fantastic family name to lean into had they given you trouble.
I don't know if they would want to bail me out again.
How many times, Lady Bailman? Do you have like a side hustle I don't know about that you're frequently being pulled aside by the guard for contraband?
No, I just like
Because if you didn't tell me about it, I would be quite offended.
I just like to read. Some things I'm not supposed to read.
You're very lucky you were born where you were.
Probably. The faster I can get this out of my bag, though, the better I'll feel, so...
Yes, I'll also feel better once we can, find someone who will pay us for the other goods.
Those you have in your bag, though, right?
She wouldn't let anybody else have them.
It's like the most unwieldy pillow, but sometimes she's just like,
No, I
you're gonna make
just
me
have
money.
I just have the spun orichalcum wrapped in my fine robes inside my bag.
Because why would you wear them?
Because we were on travel.
It was a beautiful cloak. You never wear it.
We were traveling.
I could probably sell that cloak for a good deal of money.
We were traveling.
You need another awareness test.
Roll for bickering.
No.
Yes, success.
Success.
As you're conversing, Sieg recognizes the sound of lockstep. The sound of a unit moving. By your count, having been in formations like that before, you can tell there's at least 50 to 60 soldiers currently walking through the street. And it's that, not that walking through the street and the sound of busy people moving back and forth between buildings. No. It's the rhythmic sound of walking in unison that draws your attention. And the two of you, as you're talking to amongst yourselves, Anya has her back to the street right now as you're talking. The two of you can see the procession of soldiers in Brithangul state uniforms. Their large puffed sleeves, their breastplates, their halberds tucked under arm. But you notice something different. Their helms carry each a cloth laurel braided in the colors of the Exalted Church, specifically the Paladin. As they march through the street heading towards the main gate the western gate that you entered from. This area of town is known as Westgate, just to let you know.
I guess that's some of their forces that the Hierophant's already got.
Along the gate, they actually had a recruitment. They were looking to bring more in the cathedral. Do you think people have to worry about being pressed into service so soon?
And now they're just talking about soldiers behind you. As they start talking about soldiers, you're just kind of.
Maybe. Really depends on how much the Hierophant deems necessary, but can't force everyone.
You think they're recruiting for what's happening in the west? Or the north?
Well, judging by the laurel on them, it seems like they're...
Wait, you can see... Oh!
Yeah, there's a lot of them. It looks like they've already got the Paladin's blessing, so I would presume they're going to get ready to fight out in the west.
As you see them moving in formation, you can see that they are moving in a 10 rank 6 file formation. 60 soldiers, a all of them, these seem to be state halberdiers. With them looks to be a rather well personally adorned. Armor's a little bit filigreed. His halberd is a little bit more. It has flair to its curve, and he carries an officer's sword, not just a simple blade. Soldier's weapon, a mortuary sword. It's more than just a mortuary sword. This looks to be an actual rapier. This is an officer's blade. And behind them, rolling along, keeping up with them, seems to be their provision wagon, piled high with tent canvas, and behind that another of barrels of various usages, not purely weaponry.
Ah.
Yes, the ultimate weapon.
Yes.
The barrel. But it looks to be of provisions of probably beer for extended moves, as well as probably food packages, wrapped canvas bundles held fast with twine.
With how well they're taken care of, it's probably safe to assume we're going to be seeing some taxes increasing. War is not cheap.
Well, I mean, it's only just probably heading towards the west gate, or
Well,
past the west gate.
really where they're going. They can go anywhere, but someone's got to pay for it.
Still need to send word to my grandmother.
Do you need us to arrange a messenger? We're in the city. I'm sure we could find something before we go.
And at the very least, if it's just one person on horseback, they'll get there faster than a regiment like this.
I mean, it's not much my family can do, but at least to let them know what's happening.
The messenger system is rather well known for its efficiency. They have post stations where a rider, if they need to get a specific piece of mail from one's place to another, that is literally just rides up, horse in stable, hops onto new horse, signs in, and is out, riding again. And they at full gallop from station to station, changing out horses constantly to arrive within lightning speed comparatively to the standard put the letter on the coach and it travels with the coach. And whenever the coach arrives at its destination, the mail is dropped off with the postmaster. So if a letter needs to be sent via messenger very quickly, there is the mundane post system. There is a fast post system with these exchanging riders, and then there are services that are provided to the nobility that is secure aviation post. One of the spheres of magic, one of the schools of magic, is the control of beasts and all living creatures. So having a rather reliable flying delivery method is not out of the means of the society. But it doesn't mean it's available to everyone. So, the maniple continues on past the stable, and you find yourselves, well, returning to your group. The doctor arrives. Well, I have found out that the only place that we would probably find him is in his place of business.
The butcher shop?
Well, the butcher shop in the back of his tavern.
He has a tavern.
I don't believe he had any other engagements today, so if we were to find him, it would be there.
I mean, at least we know he'll be in a good mood once we pass off what he asked us to get.
You have your things?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Then I suggest we make haste so we are not walking too long in the torchlight.
Probably a good idea.
Keep your bag very close to you in the streets.
Sounds like she's like hugging it.
It's very normally in this time period you would actually have pockets in the hoops of your skirts. So she's stashed away her goods actually into the hoops within there. As we're kind of prepping.
Sig basically just has like whatever equipment he has on him worn, and everything else he kind of just keeps in like a little rucksack and little pouches on him. That's about because that's all he's got really. Otherwise, it's yeah.
The four of you make your way into the streets, and as you do, as the light begins to fail from above, the lamplighters take over and perform their trade. As you can see that there are oil lamps in glass cages on poles at the end of every street corner and through the more populated areas, giving the city a almost campfire-like quality in certain places and a darkest of dark shadows in others. But as this night descends, you find yourselves arriving after a short, we'll say 45-minute long walk. Just as the sun begins to set on this autumn night, you arrive at the Pig's Head. Outside you can see a crowned swine's head, but it's rather realistically rendered as though it has been severed during a butcher's work. Called the swine's head. Called the crowned pig. When you want to be disrespectful, it's referred to as His Majesty's resting place. As you get there, Dr. Siebold looks up. I despise this place.
Do they have bad service, bad drinks, or?
You've never been here before?
I don't think so. Not.
It's not familiar. You've the only interactions you've had with Cyrus had been through church gatherings, and those floated
Locations.
Your club, so to speak, had floating locations to gather at, so you knew where the next gathering was going to be at the end of the previous one, and the only way to get access to another one is to have somebody who had been to the last one who knew where the next one was going to be and invited you. It's never been held here. So no, you've never been here before. Unless you've possibly spent time in a more, we'll call it a criminal element kind of area, low income, opportunistic individuals own places here. You knew that he had his own shop. You didn't know exactly where it was. And the fact that you are arriving in this place, in the four-pointed square, you know that, well, the lamplighters didn't hang around very long. You know, in the area that this is a place where it is an immigrant quarter. many people who are coming from different places end up here. You can see refugees in the streets walking about. Sieg actually does know of this area. He's just never been in the Pig's Head before.
Mm-hmm.
Hog's Head. It gains a name amongst whoever's looking at it because signs didn't really have words on them very often in these kinds of in settings with similar timelines. You didn't have names. It was just literally a symbol on a banner on a wooden placard.
More accessible to the populace,
Mhm.
considering.
This is not a entertaining place. Although I do think that you might fit in more than I do.
I mean, sure.
We'll hold our pockets close.
Yes, I would make sure they are firmly buttoned. Now, let's get this over with. The building it's a decent-sized two-story building. It does have a little bit more height to it than the surrounding buildings. The entrance is not on the street itself. It does have a small hill that it sits on. So there is a small walkway up with long cut stairs into this small hill. The buildings on either side of it, the lower portion of the buildings is held up on stilts, and they have porches that go up. But before you, this large building, it has a half-cut, swinging saloon-type door to it, and you can hear the sounds of fiddle and singing coming from inside. A warm light casting out onto the street. As you get closer, you can hear more and more conversation. You can hear the occasional shout. Whether in joy or in heartache, you're not sure. But as you step through the door, you see a warm tavern's chaos. Moving about, you see a minstrel playing a fiddle, singing along as he goes. A small child standing next to him with a hat, trying to keep up with wherever the fiddle player goes. The tables are filled with Sieg's salt of the earth type people. Those near the front of the establishment that kind of look over in your direction notice your fabric choices and take a quick moment, linger looking at you a little bit longer. You can see behind the bar there are rows of side placed kegs laying there with spigots slammed into the sides. There's also a very large barrel vertical on the bar itself that you can see bar keeps as they go and clear off the tables, walking over, opening the top of it, and just dumping whatever was left on the tables into that barrel. While at the same time, another person walks up, drops a penny in a cup, opens up the spigot of this thing, and just drinks straight from that barrel.
You're home!
Core memory.
There is a bartender handing out fresh cups for those who can afford a fresh cup. It is a for people of Anya and Sable's persuasion, it is a place of absolute uncouth nightmare. Sig feels home. It reminds him of the old taverns that he used to attend in Scania. You can even see Stenfod walking about. There's maybe one or two Galians if you're paying attention, but they're not very obvious as pretty much everybody is in similar Brethengal laborers attire. The occasional person with a waistcoat, the occasional person with a nice hat, but they are few and far between, as most people are focused on drinking, playing cards. As the exalted tarot is used in games of chance, this sacred arcane tool that Anya has slaved over, learning the intricacies of its meaning for divining without having to tap into the aether, is being seen getting beer spilt all over it, thrown into people's faces, and torn to pieces should one lose.
She's gonna keep her mouth shut, but it's just like looking at it like someone just, in other words, kicked her dog. Just your face looks like it's being crumpled from the inside, like Kermit. Yes, like the face.
Look, however bad this Cyrus guy is on whatever business he does, he runs a great establishment.
You can hear dog
see.
barking
Oh, Puffos.
as you see a small off to one side. Now this is a large establishment. It reaches wall to wall. It has to be almost like 100 feet from wall to wall. So off to one side you can see there's actually a raised wall, and there's several lamps hung from each post to well illuminate this area. And you can see off to the side a man standing there waiting, almost like he's waiting his turn, with a writhing sack in one hand, as people wave coin and currency, as you hear dogs barking, and you can hear the gnashing and screaming of make awareness tests.
I don't want.
I better
to.
fail this. I
I don't want.
That's standard.
Standard.
I failed.
Succeed.
I critically fail.
Yeah, you did.
That's a 66.
You hear the yelps. Please take
Ah, jeez.
7 peril.
My peril threshold is 7. So I
Oh,
think
but you do have a conscience.
You're all right, but it's distressing thinking that there are two dogs tearing each other apart. Sable has a moment where she hears it, and she recognizes that some of it is actually squeaks. And you know that it's not a dogfight pit, it's a mouser pit. Sieg has seen these before, but right now he thinks it's a dogfighting pit. But Sable can see that the writhing bag is filled with rats.
Oh, my seas.
Most of the rousing sounds come from that pit. The fiddle player trying to play above the shouting, occasionally hearing "Ah!" as from in between the people you can see somebody lift up a small I guess a Yorkshire Terrier would be a good example of the type of dog that you would be seeing lifted up, although there's no Yorkshire here.
Fuck my brain. What do we call these doggos now?
Holding up this an old Che, the name of a place
All right.
within the setting. An old Che breed. It looks like a Yorkshire Terrier as he holds it up, triumphantly shouting to everyone around him. And you can see the dog's jowls are just covered in blood. And then off to the left, towards the back, you can see hanging meat. You can see just gutted pig, sides of beef, all hanging out in the open, and at a large table, a man laying into meat on a table with a large cleaver. On his head, a black bandana holds back hair. He has a very... This is about 3 days worth of 5 o'clock shadow. It's not a beard yet, but it's a full-blown scruff. And a large, impressive, virile mustache. Curls at the edges. His sleeves are held up in leather bands up to his elbows. His leather apron wrapped around his waist. Different knives tucked into the waistband in their own sheaths as they hang from his belt. And his cleaver goes to work on what looks like cutting apart pieces of rib. And as you take that in, I'm going to go use the restroom again. I am very sorry, my stomach is not doing well tonight. Doing my best.
Stop apologizing for chronic illness, you ass! Apparently not.
So is the mouser thing? So like, is that just like what is that like out of character? Like
It's
what?
a bet on how many rats a dog can kill.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like at one time and at like a time frame, like you just have a bag of rats and be like, try to kill this many rats.
Usually, don't they like do 2 different doggers at the same time, right? And then
Oh, and then it's like a competition.
Yeah.
Like very sadistic, hungry hippos.
Oh God, yeah.
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 Was that a bad analogy?
It's fine.
Yeah.
Just color memories of childhood with death. It's fine.
Mm.
Ooh, but you're not wrong. You're not wrong on that.
Yeah, no.
No.
So there's the
I don't like that the puppo looked into my soul.
the
Ken Hound.
Ken Hound, the astral puppo.
Yeah, we actually do have art of it. I'll bring it up and post it in Discord later.
Yeah. So,
I like to lean a little bit more on the innocent. Yeah, look at all the shiny rocks that I have, and
my people.
Yeah, this is
Mm.
like at least he gets to feel at home, and you're just flanked by 2 individuals being
Anya is
absolutely
terrified and horrified.
I mean,
And who would drink out of that barrel?
I mean, the dog barking is a little disconcerting, but outside of that, I mean, this place is pretty great.
It's detestable.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, come on.
That
I have a bit of a refined palate, and this doesn't satisfy my needs.
All right, well, no one's forcing anyone to drink anything. Let's
I
just
wasn't
go.
talking about drinking, but yes, that too.
Well,
You'd get dysentery if you drink from that, I'm sure.
well, here. Why don't we go over to the butcher over there? He clearly works here. He'll know where Cyrus is.
As you're looking at him, you start to recognize the man that's normally in very well put together garb.
Oh.
It didn't cross your mind at first, but as you get closer, you start to realize that that is that fine dressed man that would arrive for your resurrectionist meetings. That butcher is Dr. Cyrus.
Oh.
As you say, that butcher over... Oh.
Well, we should tell him we're here.
Does it look like he has fruits about him that we would have to address first?
There are a few tables placed about that have a rather relaxed atmosphere to them. Populated by rough-looking individuals. One more awareness test, please.
Don't start a bar fight.
I can't make that promise.
Oh, I succeed.
I succeed.
So do I.
All three of you see a very large shadow standing towards the back.
I don't want to succeed.
Oh yeah.
Standing in the shadow of a cabinet. I would say in the shadow of a cabinet if he wasn't taller than the cabinet. Standing about... Oh, you guessed that it's probably a 6.5-foot tall cabinet. So he's... You can see his head above the cabinet. In a long, high-collared canvas coat that nearly hangs to the floor, buttoned up high. You see a very stern face of a man who you're not sure what's wrong at first, but he's bald and he's clean shaven. And there's something off about his face, and then you realize it's because he has no eyebrows. It's just a strong brow casting shadow. He looks like he could be a door in and of itself. And not just a simple door you put on a wall in a door frame for your home. No. This is the thick kind of door you put it in an armory to make sure nobody's going to move through it. He stands silently watching over as the rest, and the thing that's the most disturbing is that it's the light around him almost seems cool compared to the warm light being cast by all the oil lanterns within. So as you move towards said butcher, there's a small rail to kind of designate where his butcher shop begins. And nailed to a wall, a wax-dipped pig's head with a faux crown hanging from an ear sits on the wall overlooking this area specifically. As you start to get close, one of the individuals at the table stands up. A rather barrel-chested Stenfod. Little short, a little shorter than Sieg. So still with average size of Stenfod, but that is a little bit shorter than average size of everybody else. So maybe around 5'5".
That's my height.
But he is broad. He stands up, walks over, holds up a hand. Can I help you?
Yeah, we got a delivery for yeah, that's Cyrus. Yeah.
Turns around. Obadiah. The man with the cleaver looks up. His he doesn't. You don't think he grooms, but he has very crisp eyebrows. As he looks up at you, he sees, nods, slams the cleaver into the table, takes a rag from his belt, starts wiping his hands. Send them in. As he starts to rub his hands of the pig's blood on.
I didn't need these pants.
Stenfod moves off to the side, kind of giving you that welcome in gesture.
Is there like a back room or something?
No, right in front of everything.
Okay.
What were you asking in character to the Stenbot, or were you asking
No,
me
I
as
was
a
just
description?
asking. I was just
No.
asking
It's
you,
literally a table in the middle of this like fenced off area that has the meat hanging from almost like if the butcher shop window were inside of a tavern.
Okay, so it's almost like a hospital room where the curtains, but it's literal meat curtains in a way. To sort of
Good
like,
word to use there. Good
I'm
word.
quietly disassociating with the fact that you just said meat curtains on stream.
Yeah.
Do you know what meat curtains are?
Ah, jeez.
Kevin, do you know what meat curtains are?
We'll tell you later.
Labial fold.
Okay.
What?
Trying to keep our focus on the game.
Sorry! I'm sorry!
You can see dry aging sausages are hanging. You can see sides of beef, like I said, gutted pigs halfway through, waiting for aging to take over. And on the table in front of him is a side of pork. As you walk over, says, "Since you're all here, I assume you had a very fortuitous voyage."
Your trust was well placed in us. We got exactly what you asked for.
I wouldn't call it trust. Maybe a little bit of hope, but not trust. I only trust once it's in my hand. So, would you be able to help me? How'd it go?
Buddy?
I'm accustomed to that idea.
I'm not.
Well, welcome. Welcome to this wonderful world that you have now been baptized into. And I don't mean that in some kind of way where I'm talking about the society that we live in. No. I'm talking about fucking reality. So, I sent you to go gather for me a certain amount of a material that I require. Were you able to find it? Good. If I could have it, please.
Help the man learn to trust us, Lady Pheoman.
I'm gonna pull out the scepter first.
Hand that
Whoa,
to him.
whoa. Slow down as you're starting to pull it out. Just hand me the bag. There's no reason to go flashing around such items in the open.
But I have other stuff in it.
Here, I can just hold some of your stuff for you. Just
They hand him my bag.
did you give me the other things?
No.
Or? Oh.
Now he opens up the flap. He looks inside. More. You weren't able to get it off of these things?
Didn't really have the time to try.
I
It's
do.
very dangerous.
There's quality here. I'll be able to do something with this, but it'll take me some extra time. Folds over the flap of the bag. You go. That monument that was behind him takes 2 steps forward, crossing what must have been 10 feet, it feels like. Stands next to him, hands him your bag. Says, go into the back, take out what is ours, and bring it back to me if you would. Just kind of turns and walks with heavy footfalls out through a back door on the other side of the cabinet that he was resting near. He grabs his knife and starts to go back to butchering. You get to know a lot. Butchering meat. We're made up of the same things. flesh, blood, tissues, organs. Nearest thing to our flesh is that of a pig. I like my work here. I've learned a lot. So, as an offering for the blood, tissue, and organs that you've no doubt experienced in your travel, and as appreciation, he slides over a wrapped piece of pork ribs. This is for you. I hope you enjoy it. It's a gift on top of the payment that I will be rendering to you shortly.
Oh, well, thank you.
So he just grabs the meat.
It's packaged.
We also wanted to thank you for sending the good doctor to look after us. He's a very intelligent man.
Yeah, where are you, bud? Is he still?
He's
in the rafters.
No. He's been at the fence, standing. And now that you look over in his direction, you can see he is smoldering right now.
Oh, buddy.
Cyrus holds up a hand and twiddles his fingers at the doctor. Don't worry, my... Oh, crap, the word is fucking... Colleague, there we go. Do not worry, my colleague. Consider our little arrangement resolved. I will be keeping the research, though. I appreciate it. It's coming in mighty handy, and will come in handy in the near future.
Ooh.
I'm literally like,
Twiddling with a rubedo.
yeah, sitting at the table, just like doing what I normally do in real life, which is twitch and
Kind of poking at the sides of the meat packaging.
Hugo comes back with your bag again, and in the other hand he carries a box, like a jewelry box sized box. Walks over. He is towering over you as he comes to your side of the table, and like, have you ever seen a professional basketball player palm a basketball? That's how he's holding your bag. He's not holding it by the strap. He's not holding it by like... He's literally just like in a fist that could obviously wrap around your face. He holds your bag and just holds it out to you.
thank you.
He releases it. Cyrus looks up at him. Ah, Hugo, thank you. Takes it. Now go fuck off. And Hugo walks back to his place. Slow steps and just stands and relaxes.
How is he so tall?
His creator made him that way.
Haven't seen him at any of our services.
He's a fine worker, but he is not exactly up on his ecclesiastical studies.
That's fair.
Now, he opens up
I know, but I can't.
the jewelry box.
I know, man.
We all know.
And he pulls out like a stack of crowns. Puts them on the table. As payment for your rendered services. He takes 2 off the top and puts 2 in front of each of you in succession. The agreed upon payment. And my little gift, of course.
Does he leave some for the doctor?
No. He literally just put it in front of you. The doctor stands towards the back. You can actually see his nails gripping into the railing. If there was a way to make a heat haze with a look, he would be making it.
This is when I'm glad that the good doctor doesn't know magic.
Like watermelon on these walls.
Yeah. What about the good doctor's payment? He helped us.
The doctor's payment was taken care of in the letter that you delivered to him.
A barter. Lady payment.
I wouldn't worry about it. But I do have another opportunity for you should you possibly wish to help out our little prayer group some more. I could use, obviously, a group that could perform a task similar to the one that I had asked already. You will not be going back to Rathmarban.
Seems like
Don't
a very
worry about that.
popular place now.
And that is why we are done there. I am in need. I am in need of some volunteers.
But what kind of volunteers?
There are those that owe me favors, and they owe me currency. And I need them to come in out from the cold.
Surely you have strapping sorts like your fellow over here who would be more suited to shaking someone down than my friend over here.
No. You don't. Do not misunderstand me. A mere shakedown would be very simple if that was what I needed. But being an educated individual such as myself, I know who I need for the job that I need doing, and I would appreciate you not insulting my intelligence when I ask for something and having you inform me of what I'm actually looking for. No, I require the services of this small group here.
I'm not very intimidating.
But I know you have a skill set outside of that. And to help assuage any thoughts you might have that this might be a untoward situation, these people legitimately owe me money or other favors, and this service is in direct assistance of our little group's plan. If we are to make contact the way we wish, I need these people.
So you want the people brought in,
Yes.
not the money.
No. I just have a feeling that maybe some of them might not be willing to see my face knowing how much they owe me. I just need you to ensure that they arrive at a meeting.
How many?
There will be 3.
Are they here in Aberdown?
They
or-
are here within Aberdown.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean that makes that a lot easier. At least we're not having to go out and travel. Well, things are a little bit not so great out there.
Do they believe in the cause? Or are they just fortunate?
No. No, they do not believe in the cause, but as a businessman, I have many connections. And once you inform them, they might be a little bit more willing to come in and have a conversation about what I need done.
All right. Well, if this is another job proposition, then what will be the payment for us this time?
Another 2 gold apiece per person brought in. And by the way, just so that we don't have ourselves a little bit of a misunderstanding in this situation, I do wish to be able to talk to them.
I don't want to kill another person, so it probably is good.
No, with the way things are going right now in this little world of ours, you won't have to worry about that being an issue for very long. You're going to have plenty of time to get over it. Practice makes perfect.
Okay, so when do we gotta like do we got names? Do we got like a time?
Oh, I have names. I have similar to last time, I have 3 letters. Deliver each one and escort them back here. If they don't wish to be escorted back here, I suggest you make it very clear that it is necessary that they are required to be in my presence. And he hands you from the box. He pulls out 3 tri-folded letters, each with a seal on it. The seal is, and now that you're looking at it, I want, well, you can make an alchemy test if you have it.
Succeed. Wait, what was the difficulty?
It was standard.
Okay, then I succeed.
You recognize that it is the alchemical formula for splitting iron.
I look at it. Do you split a lot of iron?
No, but I use iron to split things.
Oh. Right, you're a butcher. Makes sense.
So, deliver these, and you will receive payment yet again.
And this will help the cause?
Of course. I'm close to presenting something at our next meeting that hopefully he'll find appeasing.
You say he? Wait, who?
Constantine. You know Constantine to be the clergyman that runs the Resurrectionist as a member of the Exalted Church. His station is not known, but you know he is at least a priest. You're not sure of which order. You've seen him at the head running the meetings. He's an older gentleman, kind of hunched. He has at times, friendly demeanor. You can know he can get kind of fire and brimstone if he needs to. And it's usually his most passionate speeches are about hearing the Exalted's word and knowing that what they do is in service of that. Make...
It's a promising sound.
I'm going to have a quick test. This will be a rumor test.
Okay.
Okay, bit of fellowship.
What difficulty?
This will be challenging difficulty.
Oh no.
So it is a base fellowship test, but
Oh, wait.
Oh, no. Success.
Dang, if it
Nope.
wasn't challenging, I would have got it. No.
Nope. I had to roll an 18.
you do remember that at times
I rolled 23.
Constantine, Father Constantine, has been at odds. They seem to have had a friendly, it seems like a friendly back and forth you've noticed during your gatherings of the Resurrectionist Society. Between Constantine and Dr. Cyrus. So at the next meeting, should everything go forward, should you be able to help me appropriately, you would also, not only would you be lining your purses with an appropriate precious metal, but I would be bringing forward findings that get us that one step closer to finally hearing something from the Exalted. So, deliver these letters and let them know that Dr. Obadiah Cyrus wishes for their presence. Are we agreed? He looks up. By the way, Doctor Siebold, if you would... Siebold, if you would continue to accompany this small troop of mine, I would make sure that possibly your books were returned to you sooner rather than later. You're not sure if it's the sound of Cyrus leaning on the table, making the wood creak, or if it's Klaus grinding his teeth. As you can see the strain in his jaw. But he nods quickly and turns to leave. Thank you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some work to get back to. This pig isn't going to cut itself apart.
Hope not.
Alrighty.
He picks up his cleaver and then gives you with a arm-swept bow. Ladies. Holds up the meat back to him, bows with meat.
Curtsy back in the proper way.
You saying my way wasn't a proper way?
It's
All
not
right,
a proper way.
This needs to be drawn. I want both the ladies curtsying nicely, and then just like
Meat.
but like the bow, but offering like, yes, it's beautiful. That's an image.
And as you're walking away, he says, do make sure it's within the next 3 days, if you would.
Okay, 3 days. Okay. That's a... Okay.
He never gave us the. So I
He
guess
gave
the
us the
letters
letters.
that
Gave
say
you
the
the letters
names?
that say the names on them. You want to peek at them as you're leaving?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, not to read the letters, but just at least see who they're addressed to so we can fucking find them.
Later on, we can
Well,
give me some time.
Yeah, later. Well, we'll think about it, but...
Are you going to peek at the names?
Yes.
Yeah.
The first one that you look at is Captain Rykard Montress. The next one is Delia Kern, comma, and it's APOC, apothecary. Apoc is the little postscript for the name. And the last one, it's just one name. Because when you're a lord, you only have one name. Or in this case, a lady. Their name is Lady Vetland. Vetland.
Say that again?
Vetland.
Vetland.
As you realize the varied degree of people that you'll need to go interact with as you leave past the Mouser pit, as more people shout and roar and shout in shame, and a fiddle player walks past a small boy holding out a hat. We're going to take our break so that we can give away some cool shit. So, let us return. Knots wasn't a very big stretch for Kevin as a character. So, let us return to our show.
He was actually named after garlic knots.
That's amazing.
Sorry.
As you get out onto the street, the doctor turns to you and says, I will give you the location of my office and home. If you need my services, they will be rendered as paid for. I will not be accompanying you personally. So, I'm going home for the evening. I hope I don't have to see you again. Good luck on your endeavors. Please, as a personal favor before I go, do this as quickly as possible so that I might get my research back.
Do you think he will actually give it back to you?
Will
No
I
doubt.
be able to read it?
No doubt he's copying it down, and I don't know if he'd be able to understand.
I understand more than you think.
How many years of medical school have you gone to?
None, but I know enough about. What is the fucking word?
Anatomy?
Pneumosemetic fluid?
Oh.
Seeing as I was the one that made that discovery, I doubt that you know more than me on the subject.
Not more, but that's why I want to learn.
That research is deeply personal to me. Once I have it back, I'll judge then if I wish to share it with anyone else, as I see sharing it in the first place got me into this situation to begin with. Good night. He turns, puts his tall hat back on, and heads out.
Alright, well, should we we know any of these names? Are any of these names on these letters like familiar at all?
Yeah, so
You can make some checks to see if you know. And if you don't know them offhand, you'll have to go look for information on how to find them. You know, like you do.
In an
Slight investigation. You know.
Mm-hmm.
An open-ended warfare test.
Okay.
So an open warfare test for the captain.
Okay, we'll do that first. Nope.
No.
I succeed.
Oh. Intelligence.
I rolled a 5.
Alchemy for the apothecary.
So all these were like open.
These, this one. Oh yeah, this is open.
Okay.
Oh, thank God. Okay. I forgot that it adds a 10%. I was gonna be like, that. Nope.
Nope.
No, I just made it. I succeed on that one.
And the last one is a rumor test. Excuse me.
Fellowship. Oh, hey, I actually know that one.
Yeah.
28.
100's a critical fail, right?
Yeah, but we're not in a situation where.
Okay.
You're like, it's my aunt! And we're
I
like,
rolled 100.
Okay.
I succeeded that one.
Yep.
Wait, you did too?
Yeah.
Oh.
I have a very. I
The
just.
only
I picked
one
up
I didn't
rumor last
know.
one.
The
Yeah.
only one I didn't know is the other lady.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know warfare. I don't. What does this face say to you? I don't know people.
All right. So, first, the captain is probably associated with either the state army or the guard. Captain feels like it might be a guard's position. The apothecary, you know that you would probably be able to find them in a I think what the name of the quarter was.
Four-cornered?
No, oh, absolutely not. No.
CBS
This doctor, this is an apothecary with a quite a bit more.
Merchant's Quarter?
Give me a second. It's not that. It's not something so simple as that. I apologize. It's sifting through notes.
Oh, Free Market's terrible.
Can't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Right. It's an older part of the city. It is known as the Court of Miracles. That's what I wanted it named.
Ooh.
Known as that because it is a place where apothecaries and other learned people. It is a quarter that is nearby the Academy of Magisters. It's a large open air sort of market for those involved in that specific society at the Academy, academic life. And the Lord...
The lady?
the lady, sorry. She is a member of the well, essentially there is a governing body that takes control, or at least makes law that is for the common people on a regular basis, and it is known as the Lord's Parliament. They have to get everything ratified by the king or the sitting regent, or a queen or what have you. But most of the time, what they say goes for the commoner. It is made up of several high-standing nobles within the country. What did you get on the rumor tests? Do you remember what your degrees of success were?
Which one's the degrees?
The tens place
6.
plus your bonus.
What did I say? I got 27 or 28.
It doesn't matter if it's
11?
20, it's a 2.
11 for you, and your fellowship bonus plus
3.
the tens place.
2.
2. So yeah, I want to be like a 5.
5. Okay. You definitely can recall this information. You know that on the council, in the parliament, there are the ladies and lords of Carrefour, Paveron, Rackenberg, Greyholm. That's Duke Greyholm. There are some that are above the Duke Rackenberg. Duke Waldeburg. Duke Turenne. And then you have Lord Abrazio, Lady Esperona, and Lord Mordenhouse.
Vordenhouse?
Morden.
Okay.
House. Mordenhaus.
I said it right. But they put an umlaut over the O.
And obviously, if I didn't mention that,
Vetland.
Califor, Duke. For Califor and Paveron
were both lords.
Okay.
What about Rackenberg?
Duke.
Okay. So it was Duke, Rackenberg, Greyholm, Walberg, Tren, and then lords and ladies for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to refer to you guys.
That's fair. It was a long list.
I can provide spellings when requested.
Yeah. Listen, it's in my notes. It's phonetical. Assume that nothing is spelled correctly in these pages.
So.
Am I familiar with any of the names of the people on the council?
You're familiar with them in the way that everybody's familiar with, like, political officials.
Yeah.
You know, there are all people that have titles according to specific. So, for example, Lord Mordenhouse is a Count of Waldeburg. Meaning the Mordenhouse County is within Waldeburg. Duke Waldeburg is the Duke of the entire region of Waldeburg. I know, slightly different from the way it's done in England, but I want it done this way because I think it's fun.
Are all these sections and areas all within Aberdown?
No, these are all within Brithengall.
Okay.
Think of it like Washington, D.C. All the senators are from all over the country, but they all gather in...
The Lord's Parliament.
Yes, they all gather in one central location. Doesn't mean that they're all there at the same time all the time when the Parliament is called,
You could usually send someone in your behalf too.
You can also send a proxy.
Yeah.
That has been done, as well as sending missives and notifications of votes and such like that. Like there's procedure that I could go into, but it's not. Yes, it is similar to a House of Lords. The House of Lords, I should say, in England. It is similar to that. But this place does not have a House of Commons. So, you do know that you're aware of them, as I said, as different lords and dukes and leaders of different, not leaders, nobility of different regions within Brithengall. You got an 11, so you would know that Parliament is currently in session. The Lord's Parliament is meeting.
So it's likely that these people would be around.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other one you'd have to find out. Stationing, and you have possibly a district where the other one lives. So as you stand in the middle of the streets, deciding what you'll do for the night.
Well, we could certainly look into these. Do we want to do it together or have our own?
You know how good I am at talking to people? I feel like we should do it together.
I agree.
I mean, plus if there's complications with picking them up, then it might be better for all of us to be present.
He did want them alive, though.
I know, I'm just saying if there's
You just need to be delicate.
No, I'm just saying if they don't want to just come easily, it might be better that we're all there. Also, do you want to take this? My place isn't going to be able to keep this for very long. Keep it, well, good.
You guys could just come over and we could eat it at the estate.
Would your family be acceptable to such mixed company, Lady Trailmid? We could pose down before we walk in.
I'd keep stranger company.
Well, then, if that's
And you're
the
keeping
case.
me safe. Technically, you're my bodyguard, so...
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So all three of you are heading to the estate together?
Yeah, we're gonna see how this goes.
Okay.
Mom!
I made friends.
Ooh.
We've known each other for a while. You talk about us, right? Come on.
Not really.
I need Anya
Oh, you did a thing.
to make a it'll be a folklore test.
Oh, I'm so intrigued. What is this?
Are we the folksy of the lore?
The lore is what you tell your mom about us?
Success. I rolled a 2.
Ooh.
You felt off since you arrived, since you went inside, since you came out. It is now just after the sun has completely gone down, and you notice that there is no lingering borealis, no lingering aurora about the Tor. The song was not sung this night. You know that the likelihood that the song would not be sung is either in times of strife or times of great mourning. The grand display isn't done.
Would I know how to find out what happened?
People in your people in your family, other Galians might know. Going to the tour in the middle of the night isn't
The best choice.
No.
No. The tour. No one sang from it today.
Well, there's a war brewing.
Feels wrong.
Put a damper on relationships in the city.
I was looking forward to seeing one sung after seeing one be destroyed.
Well, I mean, we'll be in the city for a few days. I'm sure. Maybe even tomorrow.
I'm gonna try to find out.
Are you walking? Are you trying to find a
Yeah,
hansom cab? Are you
I'll try to find the coach.
okay? Towards the night, it is towards the weekend, so finding a coach isn't too hard if you know where to go. You do know that you're gonna have to walk out of the four-pointed square first. Sorry, our cats are having a riot upstairs
They
right
really
now.
are.
They just went from one end of the house to the
Yep.
other.
Full
and then
zoom.
back.
Getting into back towards Westgate, you were able to find a cab station, a cabriolet.
Does it go that fast?
Are they playing basketball up there?
Yes.
Yeah, it
Actually,
does sound like
I
it.
think you might be right.
So, the hansom cab is a station is easy to find. It costs a silver to rent the cab to get you to the foreign quarter, where your family owns its home, as your mother is a ex-ambassador to Galia. Your father being the merchant, and the fact that your family traded so much back and forth between Galia and Brithengall, your mother was afforded the position of ambassador for a period of time. Now retired, but you still got a nice estate in the foreign quarter. Now, mind you, this is different from the four-pointed square. This is where I hate that this is a fucking thing, but this is where the acceptable immigrants live. The ones that are supposed to be here. The ones that are allowed to be here. They are looked at as a different type of person. Definitely the opinion that the small-minded Brithengall, the Brithengale, the small-minded Brithengale would say that, you know, they need to go back to where they come from. Not you, though. That kind of moment. You know I'm not talking about you. You came here the right way. That bullshit, that is how... You guys can hear that, by the way? I think they can hear the cat romps.
Oh, the cat romps.
Oh my god, I hope so.
If you can hear that, that's amazing. I'm going to go back into the video to listen.
Is it a matter of the fact that they came with money, or is it where they came from that makes them acceptable?
Column A, column B. It all depends upon where you end up. It's always easy to look down at somebody else and declare that they're unwanted than it is to look up at somebody and be able to make a difference saying the same thing. So, as you begin to ride through Westgate, you have like 20 to 30 minutes before you get there, and you're in a hansom cab.
I wouldn't call me Lady Phalamid in front of them.
Should we just call you Anya?
Mm,
What, do you go by a different name at home?
no, it's gonna require the honorifics, right? My family.
Yeah.
If we come across them. Anya, not Phelan. Or Ethan, the family name. But there's lots of comfy bedrooms, and you guys protected me, and we probably shouldn't tell them that we're with the Resurrectionists.
No, goodness, no, I don't tell anybody.
Family believes in the Exalted Church, of course, because, you know, about the elven gods being dead and all.
The fact that you also said Elven. Sorry,
Well,
took me a
shit.
moment.
You can
Really?
retcon
Yeah,
that.
retcon,
Yeah.
retcon, okay.
That was a slip.
Gale, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Galian.
Galian gods are dead, gone. So they're here, and they don't know what I do. So I mean, they know I'm a magister. They know that I get into more trouble than I'm probably worth. But
So, what do they think you're doing, may I ask?
Yeah, what did you tell them since we were gone for
Yeah,
like
so if we're gonna
couple
be
of
in on this,
weeks?
they're gonna ask how we know each other. What are we telling them?
I mean,
Well, you guys were-
I'm bodyguard. That's I got that.
This is true.
You I don't know.
Wow.
What exactly
Oh.
do you mean by that?
a friend of mine, and you do assist me with my gown on occasion, so we can just go off of that. Unless
Do you not
wanna-
have your own ladies?
I do, I just don't like to take them.
It's gonna make me very unpopular.
Probably.
Just
But I know you can handle it. They probably won't be able to handle you.
I'm very likable. I don't know what you're talking about.
Most likely everyone will be asleep though, so let's just hope I can get in and get you guys rooms first.
All right.
Slipping in
Oh,
under the cover of darkness.
And then we can cook the pork.
yeah. By the way, just to check, you still got. You only took the things that were his or that we were giving to him in your bag, right?
Oh, I need to check.
Opening up your bag, you can see that everything is a shambles.
The bomb's missing.
You can tell that your personal grimoire, it looks like not that it looks like it's definitely been mishandled. Not that it was like red or anything like that, but it definitely looks like it was just kind
Pushed
of
to the side.
yeah, or it was gripped by the pages to be moved.
So not on the reverence, you should show a book.
Hmm.
I mean, the real question should be how exactly did he know what had the orichalcum? He took the bag into the back and knew to leave your belongings behind, and he grabbed exactly what he needed, yeah?
Granted, would have had it were very strange objects that I normally wouldn't carry around with me.
You carried a jar of leeches that you had no particular use for.
I mean, they came in handy.
But I'm just saying that your bag is an unusual place. It does not look like mine.
I mean, would you, if there were a bag of jar of leeches, would you consider them the holders of spun orichalcum?
Yes, absolutely, Zeke.
Okay. So,
But everything else seems to be in there.
Everything seems to be in place.
Well, they definitely could have been more gentle with my grimoire, but other than that, it looks like I have everything that I
mean-
went in with.
I mean, that Hugo fella, he had some big hands, so it's probably hard to just move
It
things
looked
around.
like he could have taken my head off in his wipe.
Yeah. Whatever else Cyrus is having him do, he's probably doing a great job at it, considering his stature.
You notice that the wheels of the carriage The sound of the stones have kind of changed. Before it was much. There seems to be a deeper sound now, as you realize that you're kind of going up in elevation. And as you look around, you notice that there's fewer there's fewer people walking about that aren't currently with a escort. They walk with a air about them of dignity. You notice that there's no one slumped against any walls and corners of buildings.
As I immediately straighten my back and I'm like,
Oh, if we're selling that I'm your lady, come here. Just trying to fit. I don't want them thinking you took a shit job of it. You're fucking just sitting there fixing the braid a little bit as we sit in the carriage.
As you arrive at the Athen estate, you are greeted by a fence that has the stone base of what you're used to. What would normally rises of wrought iron, a pale birch-like wood rises up and tangles across itself before forming arcs about the width of stained glass windows. The main entrance gate is made of the same, a very organic pattern, asymmetrical between the two gates. Grown to... It seems like it has been grown to look this way. As the wood seems to interlock, making it look like there is a single tree, slender tree in the center, with pale lavender leaves hanging from extending branches from the top of the gate. The hansom cab pulls up, stops, the driver gets down, walks over, opens the little half cab door, and gestures to let you out while holding the hand out kind of in front of where you are as you exit.
So I put the silver that I owe in the hand and put it in his as I take it to help myself down, but he has this payment and then an extra copper.
An extra copper as well. He looks at it, looks at the one copper, and just
Well, I don't know what's appropriate for tip.
Yeah, an appropriate tip.
It works for Anya, though, because not being accustomed to those kinds of things. Like, did I tip too much? Did I not? Like, I feel like she's constantly tipping too much or not enough.
Yeah.
She's yet to find the moment where somebody's not like, or, what the fuck?
He never has to work again.
So he takes it, pockets it. After all of you have gotten out and gotten your things, he closes the door behind him, gets up into the cab, and moves the hansom cab on. There is a night guard standing by. Now, he's wearing something that is very different from what you have seen of the others. The soldiers that you saw before had steel breastplates. They had large slashed sleeves. They wore the colors of their state, of Brithengal. This gentleman wears the colors of House Athen, which are...
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you get to pick.
I'm gonna say like a deep purple and gold.
Okay.
As
Wearing-
I wear orange.
With what?
As I wear orange.
You're allowed to wear other colors.
Wow.
He wears mostly a white that matches the fencing, but you can see that in the leather straps that hang down from the not like it's a swept helm. It's not conical by any means, but it is a swept, sleek helm, and you can see in the leather straps that hang down on either side of his face, and in almost like a circlet kind of location, there's gold. Draping down from pauldrons is it hangs almost like a riding coat, where you have a riding coat where you can pull your arms out of the cloak. It hangs sort of like that, with a mantle that hangs down just below that. You can see that mail ends at the elbow, where steel bracers take over. Leather gauntlets hold a very... it's more like a glaive than it is a halberd. And the blade is thinner and longer. It's not as chunky as Berthengol's weapons of war. It looks almost elegant in its design. He wears around his waist a braided gold and purple belt that the tabard tucks into and hangs down to about the knee. With tall riding boots, stands at attention.
Me too.
In front of the gate. And as you walk up, take several steps forward, sees you, and immediately bows low, taking one step back, putting one foot forward, holding his glaive sideways, and extends it out while bowing.
Do I know his name?
You don't have a great fellowship score?
Oh,
So
no.
I'm gonna have you make a fellowship test.
Jerry.
See if you remember any of them.
Isaac. I succeed! Oh!
Whoa.
Wow, you guys, we're showing off tonight. I rolled a 23. Oh.
Fellowship's at 28.
Oh, man.
I really wanted to remember his name, and I really hoped it was what I named my leeches. Like, they just took him with me like other friends.
Oh my
And then he
god.
used them.
I mean, Frederick is not exactly a Galian name.
It's not really a Galian name, no.
Oh my god, that'd be
Name my
adorable
friends
though.
After you.
Let's retcon all the names that we heard prior of the leeches, and we'll just rename them Galian names. It's fine.
I named them after my gods.
Oh.
You recognize him as Sheehan.
Jin?
Yeah.
Jin, hi.
He looks up. I'm very pleased that you have returned. You are expected.
Oh no. Is it a good thing?
Your parents await you in the solarium.
Probably not a good thing.
Oh no.
He's still in his bowed, like...
No, up. Get up.
He adjusts his hand, reclutches the glaive, stands back up, reclaims his guard's position. They heard news of your arrival.
Yay.
From who? We weren't here that long.
Do they pay the guard at the gate?
They might.
He walks over, and you see him with pulls from his hip. It looks similar to a key, but there's no proper like key teeth on it. It looks more like a simple, almost wand-like with a loop on the end that he presses to the front of the gate, and you actually see the gate's branches unweave from each other, and he pushes the gate open.
I'll go before you get in trouble. Come on.
Is now a good time?
Good as time as any.
You didn't sound very. You sounded worried that your parents were waiting for you because you thought they were going to be sleeping.
Let's just go.
As you head in, you
Just
walk
like slightly arranging your skirts as you do it.
You walk amongst. It's one of those. It is definitely a cultivated yard, but it is not a groomed yard.
The word for that. There's a thing.
Yes, there is a term
Bio
for
something.
that.
Oh, it's cool.
I have it confused.
There's an actual like current day like trend of trying to bring back the idea of cultivating your lawn with like not grooming it like a lawn because think of the meme pictures
I think they're just calling for it's just biodiversity lawns that are currently being done.
Kind of like having like wild flowers and things, more expressive nature stuff on the lawn, but not fully, but not like just overgrown grass.
It is, but even then, the grass is more to a height. It's just kept within a certain boundary. Like the grass is allowed to grow to the height that it's supposed to grow to.
It's just trimmed on the edge so it doesn't come over the walkways.
Exactly. You can tell it's manicured in the fact that it's kept within its bounds, but that it is the plants are allowed to grow to their specific lengths and to their preferred heights, just so long as they don't get in the way of moving through the garden. As you walk up, it's a 2-minute hike through the garden as you see the small ponds with statues, faceless representations of the Galian deities. You arrive at the rotunda in front of the home. And before you is the large, it's not palatial, but it's flirting with mansion. But it is on a thinner strip of land. You can see the fence as you get to the rotunda. You can see on the other side of the fence. This is not like Versailles where you just have acres. Yeah. This is within a city. So it is more like a strip of land that has been cultivated in such a way that if you get lost in the garden, you could feel like it's much larger because there's so much there that you could get lost within. As you get past the drive, you see one of the home, the head butler, we could call him, opens the door as you're walking up the steps and stands waiting.
I'm back.
I see that, my lady. You are still expected in the solarium.
Okay. I will go, but can you get 2 rooms ready for me? For my companions?
He looks over at them. I will let the staff know, just in case. And, my lady, it is, I would be advised they went to wait for you once they just heard that you had arrived. They've been waiting some time. Good luck.
What's his name?
His name is Les.
Les. Thanks, Les. Am I gonna need it?
I would hazard a yes.
Okay.
I have to go speak with the staff.
Thanks.
He bows and holds the door open appropriately, closing it behind you once all three of you are in, and he heads off in the direction of the solarium, stopping only quickly to mention to another member of the staff. You see him pointing, sign of 2, and they kind of make fellowship tests.
Oh.
Rumor.
Who? Oh, that's a 1. That's
Success.
Yes.
He looks at you as though he had been asked to make beds up for a pair of stallions. Rather than taking them to the stables. And then gives kind of that, okay, just walks.
What a trash like these people.
Turns
I don't
around and
know,
walks
do
off.
Do they need some, like, buckets to pee in? I don't...
You'll be back. Anyway, so he, as soon as that is done, he bows back to you again and gestures towards the solarium.
Anya has the best intention.
Walks over to the doors of the solarium.
I put my cravat on today.
You've been gathered. You've been ushered through past the foyer, down a hall, past. You see there is to your right. You pass a ballroom. To your left, you're fairly sure it's a game room of some kind. There's a table. There's essentially a Galian form of billiards. Well, actually, no, not billiard. That would be a Brithengall thing, but it's obviously been adorned to look for entertaining guests,
Like a gentleman's parlor.
A parlor. And at the end of the hall, rather round doors, actually. He walks up to them, bows, and says, "If you give me but a moment," turns around, opens the door, walks in backwards, closes the door, and you hear muffled words through the door. You hear a stern voice on the other side.
Oh no.
And then opening the door and leaving, facing them but bowing, closes the door. "I have announced your arrival with your guests. I'll go see to those rooms now." Walks
Thanks.
right past you.
She's like in a flurry trying to like pat off some dust. Oh, we're gonna get her in such trouble.
Oh, I do that on my own.
I
And I'm gonna open the doors.
Okay.
You open up the doors into a glass room solarium. Above you, the night sky. You can see the stars twinkle. Arrayed outside of the windows on the first floor, you can see different arrays of imported Galian foliage rise up on the other. They look like plants to Seek. It's just plants, lots of flowers.
It's pretty.
We're the equivalent of what people would like wood elf type things.
Yeah.
Kaita.
The floor is brick. a more rusty brick, kind of evoking clay. On one side, to the left, you can see a fire is going in a domed, freestanding fire pit. So think of it like a silo shape, but only about 7 feet tall, cut in half, and at the bottom of it is a grand brazier. So it's a directed fire pit, almost like an outdoor metal fireplace. In it, a fire does burn. Occasionally, a fire tender walking over and stoking it, applying logs as you walk in. Seated next to said fire, there are 2 chairs facing it, a small table in between. Seated in that tall-backed...
Oh no.
At this point, the PS4 controller would disconnect.
Yeah. Oh no.
This tall-backed, that's similar to that white birch-like wood that you saw at the front gate, but this one obviously doesn't seem to have the same fortitude as the ones out front. This one obviously more of a furniture-based style wood that you would use. Nice grain to it. It is tall-backed. It bears the Athen crest on its chief. Sitting in that, holding a tall, slender glass of what looks to be a red wine in a delicate hand, sits a woman wearing a generously laced gown. Standing next to that chair with a hand on the chief and in his other hand a glass of wine, as they both look to the fire, neither of them looking back at you, just looking at the fire together, holding their wine and staring. In a classic Gallian gentleman's attire, a sash that goes across the chest, that has a fine. It's a seal pinned on top of a knotted bow with tassels that hang down to about knee height. Wearing a kilt of fine fabrics, a vest and a vest of the house colors. You also notice that her dress is it's a pale color with the colors added to it. His attire is more of the solid colors of the house with some of the pale color added to it, so that they're almost a night and day contrast to their attire. And you can see that at the top of the sash, there is almost like a single shoulder feathered, ostrich feather-like mantle that kind of sweeps off to one side for his left shoulder. They have the same hair as Anya. His hair just as long as hers.
I'm gonna bang your dad.
Braided back and held in a tight braid that hangs down to about mid-back. Her hair is braided but held up and placed with many of the flowers you can see, but matching colors to what she is wearing.
Leave me out of it.
And as you get just close enough like, you are maybe, like, 20 feet away on cue. As soon as your foot breaches onto there's like black small gravel in this area. As soon as your foot makes that crunch sound as you step onto it, both of their heads turn. And she says, "Ah, Anya, my daughter. So good of you to join us. I was beginning to worry, as we had cancelled our gathering that we were supposed to attend tonight. Duke Oldche will be very pleased to know that you have returned safely. And he understands that when you went on your field study, we were very concerned about your safety." Duke Oldche is Lord Exchequer.
That's what I was about to say. I'm like, I remember him in our...
He's the Minister of Finances for the whole damn kingdom.
Oh,
I mean, you could have gone without me.
Oh, no. When I heard you had arrived, I made sure that you would be welcomed home to our open arms. We so missed you. Especially when we found out that your field study had been postponed after you had asked for a small leave of absence. Your father, he just bows his head to the assembled group, was able to speak with your professor and assured him that you were going on practice. So don't worry. Your trip will be counted as your field study. We took care of that for you.
I did learn.
That's very good. Please, she gestures to your father's chair. Sit. Tell me of your trip. But first, how rude of you to forget your manners. Please, introduce me to your guests.
Oh my god.
Do you still want to bang him?
I'm scared excited.
Scare
Your
aroused.
mom can top me. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Just stare up at her and be like, "You're
my
wonderful,
God.
please. You're wonderful, please."
Your mom.
Oh yeah, my mom's in chat.
In character.
No, my in-character parents here.
I just realized that's a humorous connection right there.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's not go out of context there.
Sig is just like sort of just trying to stand firm. Just he doesn't really know. Like he's just trying to just be tough. Just be tough. Just be tough, and just hope something good happens. Introduce me, please. I don't want to be here.
Hopefully you'll get to eat your food soon.
Are you still holding?
Yeah, he's still holdling the bag of meat.
Yeah,
He has
he's
the wrapped
Pork.
pork in butcher's paper. It's bleeding.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
no.
no!
Dripping.
It's secreting.
Oh,
Oh,
we walked through the whole garden
Oh,
and house with this dripping pile of meat.
If you look behind you, there's a servant on the floor. Like,
I'm so sorry you're gonna get fired.
Introduce us.
This is Mr. Sable and Sieg. They helped me on my journey and kept me alive. So,
a mistress, you say? Of what craft?
Well, my late husband, she gestures to the veil, was a very talented seamstress, tailor
Tailor.
of the merchant quarter. She takes a very low, prostrating. It is a pleasure to meet the parents of the lady here. She has been very kind in helping educate me on some of the delicacies and customs that I am unfamiliar with.
And speaking of delicacies, Sieg, was it?
Sieg Jornberg, I was protecting your daughter on her journey, and we have meat that is waiting to be cooked and enjoyed for all who wish to partake in this fine cut of pork.
I'm just gonna slice my own. Just gonna kill myself now.
We just do it now.
Pulls out Robedo, charges it up, points finger to head.
Oh no.
Oh. Well, if you wish to have that, you can, by all means. I'll have my chef cook it up for you. And she just raises her glass hand, and a servant walks over, almost rips it out of your hands, putting her dress under it so that the juice is now dripping into her dress.
Oh.
And carries it away. We will not be joining you. We already ate, and as Anya should have informed you, we follow a stricter form of our faith, as we don't eat the flesh of animals.
I may have failed to mention that.
Apologies.
No. How are you to know? Looks at Anya.
God.
That was my fault, and
Didn't you enjoy the stew with us before?
See.
I didn't say that out loud. I didn't say it out loud. I was
Oh my God, see.
I was gonna say if you just said it out loud.
I was asking a logistical question. Like, wait a minute.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Wink, wink. Okay.
Oh, please don't wink in front of don't wink at me in front of my parents. Please don't wink at me in front of my parents. I'm fine.
Please. Come sit. Tell us of your travels.
Yeah. I'm going to sit in my father's chair, which was motioned to me.
He's 100% following her lead.
Yeah.
Actually, as she takes a drink, finishes her wine, hands it to your father takes it, walks over to a small, like bar cart kind of, a crystal bar cart, places them down and puts his hands behind his back as a servant walks over, picks up the decanter, pours out and tops off the wine of the two glasses, puts them down, picks them back up, holds them to him. He takes them both, walks back over to his wife's side and hands the glass. And
look at my father with a very help me look as he walks back.
Make
This is gonna go poorly.
Oh, like it hasn't already.
make a scrutinize test.
Tried to help. Oh, I fell.
Okay.
Okay.
His eyes just lock onto you, waiting for the person who obviously is taking the lead in this conversation.
Oh, yep.
I was like, should we stay here or should we walk up with Anya to the chair? Okay.
So, without moving the chair, she kind of moves to the edge of the chair, turns sideways, pulls the. I said lace, but it's not a poof dress. It is not a very expansive dress. It is more in line with draped fabric. And she pulls one to the side, and you see the slit goes about up to mid-thigh, as she puts one foot over her other as she crosses her leg.
Don't be like that, I know.
And she has, like, just above the ankle short boots that match the purple and gold. This was court attire that they were wearing. It's like she was like, hold on, no, look at the shoe.
Oh my god.
This is... So, field study. I didn't get a chance to study at the academy as I was trained back home before I met your father. Please, how does field study go for you? And you can see the fire tender start to walk over. She actually holds up a hand and just gestures at the fire, and it burns up a little bit more before she goes back to sipping her wine.
God.
I feel like as this just rattles in his cup.
I don't have a cup.
Well,
She makes a couple of gestures to the staff, and in very short order, while you're starting to talk, glasses of a pale wine appear in your hands. Not out of nowhere, servants walked over and handed them to you. I
Where the
realized I
servants
had
came
her.
from,
I realized
who
I had her.
knows?
I realized I had her empower the fire in the. In the brazier. No, she's. So she.
well, I traveled west, and I've learned a spell called Witch Sight.
Oh.
And how to make medicinal, alchemical concoctions, and how to find certain herbs. You're looking at me really intently.
Well, I just thought after 1 year that you would have been able to pierce the veil with your eyes a little bit sooner. Is this the way they teach? Or was... Honey, I've told you if you're having trouble, you could come and talk to me, and I can teach you. If you wish.
Why wasn't there a song at the tour today?
Make a charm test.
Oh yeah, no. Nope. Mm-mm. No.
No.
Her face goes from that, like, I'm amusing, I am semi-amused and playing into your little thing right now kind of face to a very serious face. Just all emotion just drops from her face. Anything that she was putting into it just drops out. Her eyes drift over to your guest. You know that the Grand Hierophant has put forth a declaration that they intend to go reclaim land that citizens of Brithengald currently live on. Yes?
I have heard about it. I read a missive on my way back.
Then you know that the king has, in his age-old sage wisdom, given the blessing to the Grand Hierophant to go forward and reclaim that land, even though that land has traditionally been Galian. Even after the place known as Rathbarban was reclaimed 200 years prior. Starting to see a pattern. We decided that holding a nightly celebration of the closing of a good day, bidding goodbye to the sun, was not appropriate tonight. Flying the Aurora above this city is a privilege that they do not currently deserve. So, no. The song was not sung tonight. Tell me! Turns to the other two. What are your opinions on the current motion of the Exalted Church to move into Galian territory and reclaim its faithful?
I'm sure my grandmother would weep.
What business of your grandmother?
As I mentioned, your daughter's been very indulgent of my questions, wanting to learn more about your culture because I share in it, my grandmother being shunned away.
She gets real squinty.
Yeah, Civil War isn't gonna do that.
John Dwayne. And your just your grandmother?
Well, I unfortunately was not educated much about my family history. I was deprived of this.
You've chosen very interesting friends.
What?
I'm so sorry.
They're very competent.
Oh, I have no doubt my daughter, a lady of House Athan, would pick nothing other than the finest of traveling companions. I have no doubt in my mind.
I can almost taste the sarcasm oozing from her.
Sigil, was it?
Sieg Yarnberg, madame.
Yes, of course. Sieg. I'm
Seagull?
I know that this whole situation in Galia was probably not to your taste, seeing as you have no horse in the race, so to speak. But I would be curious as to know what you think of the current situation in the north, a nasty business of a civil war, yes?
Yes, I've heard the news from up north, and that is worrying. As worrying would be a grave understatement of how I'm feeling about up there. But I will need to see how that situation develops, and I wish my family safety and safety. Yes.
Safety. Are they do they happen to live near that region?
From what I've heard, one of the lords, we did have our home within one of the lord's territories that has decided to
one of the members of the
secede.
league.
Yes. But so it's concerning to say the least. It would be an understatement.
Well, it is intriguing, the whole situation, as far as I knew, so long as and please correct me if I'm wrong, in my understanding of the politics and the culture that you come from, that so long as you stay within your appropriate strata, there really isn't that much of a problem, whoever you decide to worship, correct?
What horse did you have in that business? I didn't get to finish saying what I thought of the whole poaching army going to Galia, which I think, not to be overly crass, but it's some bullshit, and I'm sorry for you and your people.
Anya has her hands over her mouth, and she's just, like, horrified. She's looking between my mother, Deeg, and then my father, like...
Her eyes go wide for a moment before they settle in.
But, yes,
She just holds up a hand. I don't expect soldiers to understand polite society the same way others do. So I will excuse your impropriety in this time. But so that you understand, and that we both can understand each other, I will indulge you. My horse in that race that my dear husband manages trade on the God's Eye. We have several ports that we go to. One of them happens to be within the League. So I keep a close eye when civil unrest starts to make its way. And it gave me great concern when I found out that, I believe his name is Hertig Eklund, the banner husband of your king. When I found out that he had called together his generals, I had some concern. See, infrastructure is very important to our business, that of merchants. And when we found out that Hertig Thorchrist, I think his name was, who recently led a very bloody campaign on the coast, would be brought in to take lead as general, we became very concerned that we might lose that infrastructure. So I am very much aware of what is going on, and I do have a horse in that race. I would ask you what I thought of Galia. It would be as if you were asking me about which axe to pick up to chip away at what stone. So, I would ask you that you keep the rest of your vulgarities to a minimum, and know that it is bad form, even concerning one as yourself, to rescind hospitality once it's been approved.
My apologies. That was rude of me.
Noted. So, she looks down at her glass, kills it, puts it down on the table next to her, turns back to you. I grow tired. It has been a long day, and waiting with anxiety for the safety of your daughter can be very taxing. She stands up, holds her hand out. His hand goes right underneath, picks it up, carries her around the chair. They stand together in front of you. I have to go take some time to take this off. I plan on resting for the rest of the night. I hope you enjoy your meats. I will see you. Maybe in passing. I do have to go see the Duke tomorrow to extend our apologies for not showing at his gathering tonight. It is only so often that your firstborn son has an engagement announced. Have a good night.
Good night, Mother. Good night, Father.
Two of them walk out of the solarium, leaving you with several very anxious staff. Just
Oh man.
You immediately see Anya just fucking melt and almost go headfirst into the fire. Like, just like...
by the way, as soon as she left the room, the fire dimmed.
Yeah. God damn it. Why is my mom so cool?
I'm sorry. It was bad to start going into politics immediately with your mother and father. I should not have done that.
And it's normal for my mother to take charge of a conversation like that?
She is a very assertive woman.
I was asking. Yeah,
Oh.
okay.
Especially when dealing with court politics. She was an ambassador. It's kind of like her shtick is to kind of be the one that talks, and yeah, that flowed about as good as maybe you could have hoped that it would once you heard that they were waiting for you.
And they found out that I wasn't on a field research that I originally thought was my perfect cover when we were first starting.
Oh,
Thank you.
we're gonna have to work on your storytelling in the future for maybe even just the sake of my own nerves. We need to get you to lie better.
I'm not good at it.
No.
Let's get ready for dinner.
Yeah.
As soon as
feel
you say
like-
that, without saying another word, the staff start moving around the solarium for you. They move away some of the tables. They get out the breakfast tables. The solarium is a nice place to enjoy the morning sun and have your, breakfast. So they bring out that table, keeping you in this room. They set up chairs and they put out fine silverware, and you can hear the clattering and as they go about their business. It just, as soon as she said, let's get ready to have dinner, both of you notice that everything just flies at her mere mention.
Does your mother still hate everyone or is that
That's normal.
Are they gonna know how to cook that properly?
Yes.
Okay, I had to ask, considering it seemed like apparently Galians don't eat meats for some reason. Normally.
I mean, it all depends on your beliefs, but they're hunters for a reason.
It's more of an orthodox tradition amongst Lanapkaita, and it's specifically done when And here's the thing that you realize as he's saying that it's specifically done when a loved one has passed.
Oh.
Did they think I was dead?
Oh.
Well,
It was another under the radar kind of. There's layers. There's layers.
Oh no, I really need to try to talk to my father without my mother around.
Is your father, assuming based on what you're saying, your father is a little bit easier to talk to about?
It's very rare to get away from my mother. But it's worth it when it happens. We should eat.
You know that your father was a fine acquisition that your mother made. He was a handsome man to marry.
Mm-hmm. He looked good on her arm.
Especially for somebody rising up in political
Mm-hmm.
circles who wanted possibly a position that involved ambassadorship.
And a trader just happens to fit the bill.
A pretty merchant
Pretty merchant.
is a perfect husband to have.
Oh, I'm gonna have to thank him for lying to my teachers.
Apparently he wasn't a good enough liar.
Oh no, they lied perfectly fine. They believed him, now they just don't believe me. I think they thought I went and died in a ditch somewhere. Did they say I was gone a year?
No, you've been in study.
Oh, study a year, okay.
Yeah, I had
At
that
least a
panic
year.
at first too, but I
I did as well, and I was just like, let me just roll with it.
I should say in this year, you've just started, okay, you've been in school longer than that, but it wasn't until this year that you started being trusted with the ability to use your rubedo for casting.
Yes.
There's a whole lot of theory education before you're even allowed to
attempt to put it into practice.
Think about how long, well, no, that's a bad example. America sucks at gun safety courses.
Yes, yes it does. It took me longer.
How long did they
let?
How many classes did you go to before you were allowed to fly?
Oh, jeez, I'm not even fully allowed to fly, and I had hundreds of hours.
Exactly. You go to class for a long time before they even let you near the actual aircraft to get in, to go up. So there was a whole bunch of conversation about how it works, how you're supposed to do it before you even were allowed near the thing that you're supposed to do. So now
and then you're shown how to do it before you're given the controls.
Exactly. So you're at the practical learning stage, and for a year you've been in the practical learning stage. Before that you were in the theory learning stage where you were taught all the rules and how it's supposed to go.
Do I know what fundament or firmament?
Which one you kind of lean toward?
Oh, no, Mother Dearest.
Mother.
She's traditionally taught.
Oh yeah, that's right, the Galilean way of doing things.
So she actually focuses on a more open path that is a little bit more of it's known in Brithengale language as noble magic. Only the best students learn noble magic because it doesn't draw on one specific school specialty. It draws from all of them, both firmament and fundament.
Okay. That's... Yep. I'm pretty sure if I learned with my mother, she'd end up killing me in a week.
Sorry, Gray just kind of killed me a little bit right there.
Oh no.
Okay. We're gonna be okay staying the night, right? I get the feeling we're not gonna be invited back.
Probably not.
I'm sorry, people usually believe me when I say I'm high class. I thought maybe at least you wouldn't be heckled for that.
She didn't question your class.
Oh, well, the looking disdainfully. Oh, it was a racist thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yep.
Bingo on the nosy.
She even said this. Oh, right.
And I was just like, oh, it wasn't your Immediately shut up on my own. Yeah, they're just probably not gonna. I mean, just tonight, and then we'll see if they let me out of the house.
We could always usher you out under the cover of darkness. I'm pretty good at that.
They have, like, servants and guards all over this place.
I'm good at it too.
Okay.
It's a good challenge. They're people. They have wants, desires, things they hate, and they're easily just as distractible.
You start to get a whiff of cooked meat as a dome has been pulled off of a large platter that is now at the table that three of you haven't seated at yet.
Oh.
And standing next to the table are three separate staff standing at attention, hands clasped in front of themselves, waiting for you to sit so they might serve your plates.
Is Les in the room?
No, Les is not.
Damn. Okay. I'm gonna go over to sit down, but I'm gonna turn to the person waiting there and be like, did they think I was dead?
She looks off to the side and kind of makes eye contact as you follow her sight. You can see that the ceremonial wreath that the parents are supposed to weave or the loved one weaves, you can see that the frame has been put out and that bundles of different flowers had been arranged. And she just catches that, looks back to you, smiles.
Oh shit.
Might I start serving your plate, madam?
Yes, please.
Maybe they're just saying
She starts
you're
getting
dead to
to
them. Like, now you're dead to them. Not that they thought you were dead. Maybe they're just really embarrassed.
Les comes back in as you hear the door open and close. And he walks over and stands next to Anya, his hands behind his back, nice and straight, in formal Galian attire. Obviously not the beautiful... By the way, we do have images of the different attires that we can share. We have art of this kind of stuff, so you guys kind of get to see what sort of fashion.
I'll have to dig them out.
Have an actual what?
I'll have to dig them out. It's been many years.
They look so
Many
cool.
hard drives.
I know. We'll see if we can find them. He stands next to you, hands behind his back. I wish to inform you, lady, if I may, that your guests' rooms are prepared for their... He looks around. 1 week stay, which I had arranged as part of the hospitality offered from the beginning.
Oh.
You're the best, Les.
I do my best.
You do it well.
Thank you.
Were they worried?
They were aware. And as the plates sit before you, and piled with, they actually did the ribs in almost like a crown roast formation. So it almost makes like a crown of standing rib. Each of you having several of them on your plate. The also piled with a salad of greens and some what looks to be maybe a mash root vegetable of some kind, with small finger carrots just kind of turned into a little teepee on top. You're able to begin eating, processing the day, and discussing what you're going to be doing over the next couple of days.
Got a lot of money in my bum roll right now.
Yeah, we do need to sell it. Making sure there's none of the staff around when we have the conversation.
If you want to, you can excuse them.
Yes.
And as you excuse them so that you can begin having conversation, that is where we are going to end tonight's game.
Guys, I'm sorry
Oh my
for the
God.
offer.
Jesus.
Oh,
I wanted to save you guys
Jesus.
money from having to spend it
Oh,
on things.
I mean, Sable shamelessly was like, "Oh, you'll give me lodgings. Thank you." I said, "Sounds great."
That's it for us tonight. I have been Conry. With me has been...
Cake.
Just Kevin.
Cassandra Lee.
Thank you, everyone. And remember, until we see you again, remember to always stay evil. Good night, everybody.